3. Transfer. You may not rent, lease, lend, sell, redistribute, or sublicense the iOS software. You may, however, make a one-time permanent transfer of all of your license rights to the iOS software to another party in connection with the transfer of ownership of your iOS device, provided that A. The transfer must include your iOS device and all of the iOS software, including all its component parts and this license. B. You do not retain any copies of the iOS software, full or partial, including copies stored on a computer or other storage device. And C. The party receiving the iOS software reads and agrees to accept the terms and conditions of this license. Part 4. Consent to use of data. When you use your device, your phone number, and certain unique identifiers for your iOS device are sent to Apple in order to allow others to reach you by your phone number when using various communication features of the iOS software, such as iMessage and FaceTime. When you use iMessage, Apple may hold your messages in encrypted form for a limited period of time in order to ensure their delivery. You may turn off FaceTime or iMessage by going to the FaceTime or Messages settings on your iOS device. Certain features, like analytics, location services, Siri, and dictation, may require information from your iOS device to provide their respective functions. When you turn on or use these features, details will be provided regarding what information is sent to Apple and how the information may be used. You can learn more by visiting https://www.apple.com/privacy. At all times, your information will be treated in accordance with Apple's privacy policy, which can be viewed at https://www.apple.com/legal privacy. Part 5. Services and third-party materials. A. The iOS software may enable access to Apple's iTunes Store, App Store, iBook Store, Game Center, iCloud, Maps, and other Apple and third-party services and websites, collectively and individually services. Such services may not be available in all languages or all countries. Use of these services requires internet access, and use of certain services may require an Apple ID, may require you to accept additional terms, and may be subject to additional fees. By using this software in connection with an Apple ID or other Apple service, you agree to the applicable terms of service for that service, such as the latest Apple Media Services terms and conditions for the country in which you access such services, which you may access and review at https://www.apple.com/legal internet services iTunes www. B. If you sign up for iCloud, certain iCloud features like iCloud Photo Library, My Photo Stream, iCloud Photo Sharing, Backup, and Find My iPhone may be accessed directly from the iOS software. You acknowledge and agree that your use of iCloud and these features is subject to the latest terms and conditions of the iCloud service, which you may access and review at https://www.apple.com/legal internet services iCloud www. C. News app content. Your use of content accessed through the news application is limited solely to personal, non-commercial use, does not transfer any ownership interest to you in the content, and specifically includes, without limitation, any commercial or promotional use rights in such content. Furthermore, you are prohibited from republishing, retransmitting, and reproducing any images accessed through the news as a standalone file. D. Maps. The map service and features of the iOS software, Maps, including map data coverage, may vary by region. When you use any location-based features within Maps, such as turn-by-turn navigation, traffic and local search, various location-related and usage information may be sent to Apple, including the real-time geographic location of your iOS device, in order to process your request and help improve Maps. Such location and usage data is collected by Apple in a form that does not personally identify you. By using Maps, you agree and consent to Apple's and its subsidiaries and agents' transmission, collection, maintenance, processing, and use of this information to provide and improve the Maps features and service. and other Apple products and services. Apple may also provide such information in either an aggregated or non-personally identifiable form to its partners and licensees to help improve their map and location-based products and services. You may disable the Maps location-based functionality of Maps by going to the Location Services settings on your iOS device and turning off the individual location setting for Maps. Certain map features will, however, be unavailable if you disable the Location Services setting, such as turn-by-turn navigation. iBooks, podcasts. If you choose to use the sync feature of the iBooks and podcast apps to synchronize your bookmarks, notes, collections, and podcast subscription data across your iOS devices and computers, you acknowledge that such data will be sent to Apple and stored in conjunction with the Apple ID you use for the iBook Store or iTunes Store. In order to sync such data to your other devices and computers that are authorized to access content through that Apple ID, you can turn off syncing at any time by going to Settings and changing the syncing options for the iBooks and podcast apps respectively. You understand that by using any of the services you may encounter content that may be deemed offensive, indecent, or objectionable, which content may or may not be identified as having explicit language, and that the results of any of these search or entering of a particular URL may automatically, unintentionally, generate links or references to objectionable material. Nevertheless, you agree to use the services at your sole risk, and that Apple, its affiliates, agents, principals, or licensors shall have no liability to you for content that may be found to be offensive, indecent, or objectionable. Certain services may display, include, or make available content, data, information, applications, or materials from third parties. Third-party materials provide links to certain third-party websites. By using the services, you acknowledge and agree that Apple is not responsible for examining or evaluating the content, accuracy, completeness, timeliness, validity, copyright compliance, legality, decency, quality, or any other aspect of such third-party materials or websites. Apple, its officers, affiliates, and subsidiaries do not warrant or endorse and do not assume and will not have any liability or responsibility to you or any other person for any third-party services, third-party materials or websites, or for any other materials, products, or services of third parties. Third-party materials and links to other websites are provided solely as a convenience to you. Neither Apple nor any of its content providers guarantees the availability, accuracy, completeness, reliability, or timeliness of stock information, location data, or any other data displayed by any services. Financial information displayed by any services is for general informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as investment advice. Before executing any securities transaction based upon information obtained through the services, you should consult with a financial or securities professional who is legally qualified to give financial or securities advice in your country or region. Location data provided by any services, including the Apple Maps service, is provided for basic navigational and planning purposes only, and is not intended to be relied upon in situations where precise location information is needed or where erroneous, inaccurate, time-delayed, or incomplete location data may lead to death, personal injury, property, or environmental damage. You agree that the results you receive from Map service may vary from actual road or terrain conditions due to factors that can affect the accuracy of the map's data, such as but not limited to weather, road and traffic conditions, and geopolitical events. For your safety when using the navigation feature, always pay attention to posted road signs and current road conditions. Follow safe driving practices and traffic regulations, and note that walking directions may not include sidewalks or pedestrian paths.